Hi, and welcome to the Life Worth Living process. Congratulations for taking the first step to identifying what your biggest challenges are or what your challenges are and creating your own dream come true. Whether you've experienced loss, whether you've experienced transition in your life, you've made a decision to rebuild your life on your own terms, and you've come to the right place. So, first, I just want to establish some ground rules that I am going to give you permission to become what you wish to become. And we're going to set the tone by giving you a safe place to do some really simple exercises that are going to make a huge change in the positive direction in your life. So, with that, I'm wondering if you might want to grab a pen and some paper and you can pause this. Traditionally, no matter what happens, I will like maybe making this funny face when you hit pause, and you can just leave that up on your screen. Go get a pen, go get a paper. I'm going to walk you through some super simple exercises that will give you an idea of what's going on in your life right now, what your challenges are, how to leap the gap to resolve those and create life on your own terms, your life worth living. So, we're going to, in this welcome video, I'm going to share with you how to identify your problem. And then we'll talk about what is your dream come true so that you then have a clear idea of what you're going to be working on as I take you through these 7 steps through the life worth living process. We're also going to, so I will give you an overview of that. We'll talk about the confidence assessment, and you should have received that with this video. So again, you don't have to do it right now, but pause at some point before that exercise and print that video or that exercise out. And then you can pause the video, or I'm going to walk you through it, but just go ahead and pause the video so that you can take the time to really give some good thought to this and make sure that you have the space to do this work at this time. Make it quiet. Is everybody else cared for? So that you can actually take a moment for yourself and focus in on what it is you need to move forward. And with that, these exercises should not take more than 10 minutes each. Super simple, really impactful. Okay. So we're going to talk about identifying the problem, the dream come true. We're going to I'm going to give you an overview of the 7 steps that we're going to walk through. We'll do the confidence assessment on this video and then talk about how to move through grief. And then you'll have time to think about those things and then do the next video. All right, so what I want to know today, if you have a pen and paper, is, again, give yourself permission to go further, to be honest with yourself. You're doing this for you. So be honest and authentic with who you truly are. Because if you're someone who for a long time has wanted to rebuild your life into what it should be, what you thought it was going to be all along. Now's the time, but you've been wondering, what are the steps? What are the secrets that those people on Facebook who always look like they're having a good time and everything comes easily to them? What is it that the magic of those people who are walking hand in hand on the beach, communicating beautifully, and somehow life just comes simply to them? What is it that they have that you don't yet right now? So do you ever wonder what that is? This may be the way to find the answer to that question, because you may learn in the next few minutes how to move through grief, how to move through trauma, how to move through stress in a super simple way and not live your life just in misery. You don't need to do that anymore. So listen up, because the next few minutes may change your whole life to be the way that you want it to be. Okay, with that, I'm going to open up a PowerPoint here, and that will give us a tool. So also so that you're not, oh, you don't always have to just look at my face. We've got something else to look at too. Give you a little variety there. So here we go. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Life Worth Living process. And we'll start with a game. Would you like to play a game with me? All right, you've got your pen and paper in hand. And what we're going to do is we are going to play the game of life. A full 3D action game. And oh my God, if you're here, you know it's a full 3D action game. So to play this game, you're going to give yourself a point for each emotion that applies to you. And this exercise is in the worksheets that have been delivered to you. And you can just write them out on your own. So here's how to play. Do any of these people sound like you or someone you know? You may want to refer someone to this program. For example, I feel sad. I don't have purpose. This is Barbara. Barbara came to me. She's divorced. She's been divorced for 2 years. She had a difficult marriage. It was a traumatic experience to get through it. And she did get through it. And now she feels disconnected from her community, the people who she used to have in her life. She used to be a wife, and now she's her own person. But she's not fueled in the way she used to be. Life didn't turn out the way she thought it was going to be. So give yourself a point if you feel sad. Give yourself a point if you feel you don't know what your purpose is. Give yourself a point if you feel disconnected. If you feel depressed, give yourself a point. If you feel lonely, give yourself a point. If you feel burnt out, like when you wake up in the morning, you don't have the energy you think you should because you know you used to have that energy to get stuff done, or you're trying to get things done and your energy level just dumps and you can't do it, that's burnt out. Give yourself a point. If you feel hopeless, like you just don't know which way to turn, give yourself a point. Okay, we're going to continue on. We'll add those points up in just a moment. But give yourself a point if sometimes you feel like, when I'm busy taking care of everyone and everything, who is taking care of me? This is Elizabeth. Elizabeth came to me. She was having health issues. She's got 2 kids. She had just moved to a new community. And, so she didn't have her friends around, and she was feeling like she's not enough. Give yourself a point if you feel like that. In her case, she wasn't feeling like she was enough for herself or her kids, and she was having like brain fog. And as a result, she had difficulty with decisions. So if you find yourself that either big decisions or even little ones are hard sometimes, give yourself a point. If that puts you in a position where you feel fearful for yourself or your loved ones, give yourself a point. And if you feel like you're doing everything you could possibly think to do that you have energy for, but you still aren't getting anywhere, like a hamster running on a wheel, and you feel stuck, give yourself a point. And if you just feel lost, like you had a plan in your life and you know what, you don't have a plan anymore and you don't know what steps to take next, give yourself a point. If you ever felt, how can I be everything to everyone? Give yourself a point. This is David. David, unfortunately, his wife passed away and they didn't have a will in place with beneficiaries designated. They didn't have healthcare directives. So not only did he lose his wife, he lost so much more in the process. He lost his assets. He lost his kids for a little while, but we were able to get them back. So if you've ever felt that kind of heartbroken, give yourself a point. If you feel like you don't have a healthy escape, he was considering getting involved in risky and dangerous behaviors. He was worried the kids might as well. So that's a sense of not having an escape. Give yourself a point. If you're just worried about everything all the time, give yourself a point. If you're worried about your kids, or for them, give yourself a point. And if you're worried about revenue or income or your identity at work, whether you get to keep your job or you might lose it, give yourself a point. And you might recognize the next person. I was wishing for clear direction to success. And I had lost my husband, I had 2 kids, and I needed a healthy way to move through grief. So if you were wishing for clear direction to success, give yourself a point. And if you're looking for a healthy path through the grieving process or traumatic experience or incredible stress or some sort of adversity, give yourself a point. If you find yourself the head of household, give yourself a point. And if you find yourself as the primary caregiver for someone else, give yourself a point for each of those. If that puts you in a position where you're feeling overwhelmed, give yourself a point. Or uncertain as to what should happen next, give yourself a point. There are 20 points possible in this 3D game, full 3D game of life. If you tally up your points right now, and if your total came between 1 and 4, let's help you rebuild your life worth living. You've come to the right place. This is going to be super fun for you and super easy, and we're going to rebuild your life worth living. If you scored somewhere between 4 and 8 points, pay attention. We probably need to talk, and I'm available. You can access me. I will make sure you have the contact information at yourlifeworthliving.org to get in touch with me. But pay attention and see what you can get out of this course that's going to make it so that you're not being held back from all of those emotions. And if you scored somewhere between 8 and 20, pay attention and listen up for what could go wrong, because we don't want you to get caught up in risky or dangerous behaviors. We don't want you to lose more than all you've already lost. These tertiary losses can add up and just snowball. So there's the game. How many points did you get? Where on our scale does this tell you how important all of this is to you? And one of the keys that we use for guideposts is your emotions. When you can understand and work with your brain enough to identify emotions and understand what they mean to you, then you're developing your emotional GPS. And this is how I've taken people through the 7-step process from these problems and difficult emotions that they're experiencing to create their dream come true. You'll remember Barbara. Barbara was feeling lost. She was feeling depressed. She couldn't get out of bed. She had been through this traumatic relationship, and now she found her purpose at the intersection of her passion, skill, and her earning potential. Barbara is now independent with unblocked potential and unlimited revenue. When she wakes up in the morning these days, she is energized, is what she says to me. She mentioned the quote that she gave me was, "You help me project manage and prioritize the important things in my life and put everything in the right position." That makes life fun. Elizabeth, she was the one, she was going through health issues, and every decision she was making was a fog, and she was concerned about herself and her kids. And now, through the 7 steps, she says, I can take care of my kids. I can take care of myself. She says, thank you for getting me stabilized enough through a health situation to even begin making quality decisions. I know I lived through it. It was kind of a fog. You help me to parent my kids and put things in place so that they will be positioned well. So that was part of it for her, was she was feeling like she couldn't take care of herself, let alone make sure that her kids were on the right track. So now she's feeling confident with her life plan in place, with steps that she knows to take without getting caught and derailed. The kids are secured. She's got a new sense of purpose, and she loves to help others. David was concerned. He had so many tertiary losses, and he really, really wanted to be in a family situation again. David says, "Your hindsight gives me foresight." And he's now feeling like his family is balanced and whole again. He's got lasting love that lasts. He actually just recently found the right woman and married her, and they have created a whole family again. Um, he's developed advisory boards, which I'll go into later, and he's developed them for the children as well, which stabilizes them. He's reset his priorities. He feels fulfilled. He feels calm. In my case, I wanted to develop a life worth living. And now I'm a competent guide with a clear, well lit path. My kids are thriving, they're stabilized, they're inspired. My question to you at this point is, how much longer will you wait? How much longer will you wait to restabilize your life, to gain the confidence you need, to give yourself permission to find who in your network and community are the right people for you to be part of your life? How much longer will you wait before you say, "I've had enough waking up feeling like I wonder why I woke up"? How long will you wait to be excited about every day that's coming forward for you? How much longer will you wait to take control of your life? And let me just pause a moment here and say, if you're not ready, that's totally okay. Let's create a safe space for you that it might be the right time for you to just not change anything. And if you're good in that space, totally fine. Pause this video and take it up again when you're actually ready to do the work, because just going through it might help a little, but there's so much growth that you can have. So if you're really much more content waiting, totally okay. Just stay there. And the rest of us, we're going to move forward and take the action required to create that dream come true. All right, so I'm going to take you through high level, just as one slide picture, big picture of, well, what are these 7 magical steps to rebuilding your life without a partner, rebuilding your life as the sole provider for people you care about, as the caretaker? How do you rebuild a life after major change in your life? Well, you know what? Here we go. The 7 steps at the very top of this pyramid, certainly not size appropriate, but is fun. We want to have fun doing it. I mean, it's like we're driven, we're built to have a good time. So fun is at the top of the pyramid, fun and diversion and, dancing in the kitchen to the music and feeling fully alive. Whatever that definition is to you, we're putting that at the top of the pyramid. To make that happen, we typically need resources of some sort. And that also creates our identity of who we wish to be in the world and what we consider fun. And to create that and support that, we build a community around us with intention, knowing we invite the right people in and free up those that are not supporting us in the direction that we're going. And for that to really work effectively, you need to be healthy. You need to have some control over what's happening in your life so you can nourish yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever fits for you. And realize now what you may have considered to be a luxury in the past could very well be a mandatory self-care action at this point, because we need to ensure that you're in a solid enough position that you can take care of yourself and those who you are the caretaker for. We have a step in here to make sure that you are protecting what's valuable to you, be it assets, be it your family, be it your loved ones, whatever it is. So protecting valuables. And what we do to make sure that that's all in place is create an advisory board. And I'll go into depth on the advisory board. It's not an intuitive one for people. It is the one that can determine success or failure. And all of this is supported with the ability to make good decisions in a healthy way that will literally escalate you up this pyramid so that life is worth living. It's fun. You can celebrate the little moments in life and the big life celebrations. Okay. So, to go through all of those emotions and actually develop your dream come true, one precious life, those are the steps I take people through. Sometimes people think they can do it on their own. And I wonder, how much longer will you wait? Some people wait until it's too late. And I have a picture of a bus here because I met a woman who was a bus driver, and she asked me, "Why weren't you here when my sister needed you? Where were you?" So that's another reason why I make this available to anyone who needs it or to gift to someone who needs it, because her sister Evelyn lost her husband and she was devastated. And people thought she was fine because she got a big insurance payout. Evelyn didn't have experience and an identity established as an employee or somebody who knew how to manage finances, revenue, or resource. So that's the protecting your valuables step. She didn't have those skills and she didn't have the life experience. So what she was doing was she was making decisions that were in an attempt to fill her empty heart. And who can blame her? We've all felt like that. Could I just buy a solution to this? And what she did was she bought cars, expensive vacations, lavish clothes, lavish events, and she burned through the money relatively quickly. Her two children didn't know what to do to help her. And just for the record, of course, they were going through this too because they had lost their father. And at this point, their mother was off trying to fill a void that she really couldn't fill. She didn't have a guide for that. The son was reaching out for community and he got involved with a group that were involved in risky and dangerous behaviors, not to get into the details of it, but her son died by suicide. And that was as devastating a loss as anyone could imagine. So now, not only did Evelyn lose her husband, she lost her son. And her daughter at this point just turned 18, and she really wanted nothing to do with her mom anymore. Her daughter had lost her father, she lost her brother, and she essentially lost her mom because her mom wasn't supporting and restabilizing herself to be a pillar of strength for the daughter. So the bus driver was saying that now she's got her sister, and her sister is just stuck. She's functionally catatonic. She can go through the motions of the day, but she's lost so much. She's waited until it's too late. Please don't let that happen to you or those you love. If you're feeling depressed, burnt out, hopeless, stuck, if you feel lonely, lost, worried, or other people make you feel like you're not enough, or you're feeling like you're not enough, if you feel heartbroken, like you don't know how to escape this situation, if you feel worried for yourself, worried for your kids, worried about your work, and you're looking for a healthy way to move through these emotions, especially if you're the head of household and you caretake for others in this overwhelming world on top of whatever responsibilities you have, and there's a sense of uncertainty, find a guide who can actually help you. And the way you know when it's time for that is to listen to your emotions. Your emotions are telling you something important. They are the clear signal that it's time to reach out for help. So if you're feeling any of the emotions that we described, if you're above a 4 on the game that we played, reach out for help. And you're in the right place, because what we're going to do is take you through the 7 simple steps do some fun and easy exercises that are going to reposition you and make sure that we understand your core values so that you can create your future in a way that's authentic to your value system, and it's the future that you want. So if you haven't already, you're welcome to go to yourlifeworthliving.org and download a free copy of my international best-selling book, Life Worth Living. You can actually take a picture of that QR code if you want to be taken right there. And if the book is not enough and this course is not enough and you need one-on-one time with me, the way to do that is to go to yourlifeworthliving.org. There's a right-hand side, just scroll down and say, I'm ready. And that will bring you right to my schedule page. And I will make time on my calendar to make sure that you have all the tools you need. All right. That's the welcome. You have taken the first and biggest step. That's probably going to be the hardest step into creating your life worth living. I'll see you in Module 1, Part 2.